All right. Good evening, everybody. We are actually going to go ahead and get started. So Kelly Johnston Dorsey will give a welcome for us.
Hi, good evening. Welcome everybody, and thank you for logging on to our meeting tonight. My name is Kelly Johnston Dorsey. I'm with the City of Omaha. And in May 2019, the City of Omaha and Omaha Housing Authority were awarded a $25 million 5-year grant for the replacement of Spencer homes, investments in people, and physical improvements in the North 30th Street area. This brings the opportunity for a lot of construction jobs. Considering the work is federally funded, we have to federal regulations. The purpose of this meeting is upcoming bidding and construction job opportunities, those federal requirements, and the resources available that will help make those federal requirements a lot easier. So I'm going to turn it over to Alyssa to introduce our partners and those resources tonight.
Thank you. And I actually should introduce myself. I'm Alyssa Solacek. I'm a city planner for the City of Omaha. And we have a lot of different organizations that are represented tonight and several different presenters that you'll hear from. So City of Omaha, our city planning department is involved. The National ABLE Network will be part of our breakout session. NBDC will also be part of a breakout session. The Omaha Housing Authority is here, 75 North for revitalization. Bryn Shore will be presenting later. The Greater Omaha Chamber, of course, they've helped us set up the technology aspect of this, and so we appreciate that. Heartland Workforce Solutions will also be part of a breakout session, and then the Nebraska Department of Labor will also talk about some of their programs. So our agenda for tonight, kind of the first major item that we'll go over is the upcoming projects that will be in the Choice Neighborhoods area in North 30th Street. And so we'll talk specifically about kind of the more recent projects that will, first of all, we'll talk about kind of the overall schedule of the project, and then we'll talk about a few that are upcoming in the next, probably the next quarter or next year. And then we'll also highlight a few other opportunities as well. Then the next section, I will talk about aspects that are related to government contracting. Because we're working on a Choice Neighborhoods project, there are some federal programs and requirements, as well as some local programs and requirements that are going to be part of these projects. So Section 3, Davis-Bacon, and Section 3 and Davis-Bacon are the federal programs, and then the governmental checklist is actually a city planning document that we use for projects that we put out to bid. Then after those two sections, we'll pause briefly to answer any questions that you guys might have. And then at the end, we will go into some breakout sessions that will kind of go back to back. So we'll start off with NBDC, who will talk about SAM registration and other business certifications. REACH will talk about bidding assistance. We'll have a couple of resource providers that will talk about education and training opportunities. And we'll have a presentation on some Department of Labor programs. And then we will end the evening with some networking opportunities for general contractors and subcontractors, primarily with Bryn Shore and the Greater Omaha Chamber as well. So with that, I actually am going to allow Todd Lieberman to introduce himself and to share his screen. So Todd, if you are there.
I'm here. I'm going to talk for a second while I got my, I open up my presentation. Thank you so much, Alyssa. I appreciate it. We're really excited to be working with the City of Omaha, the Housing Authority of Omaha, and 75 North to redevelop Spencer homes into several phases of work. Having some technical difficulties here, which I apologize for in advance, but I am just going to talk, I think. So in general, we have 4 phases coming up. The 4 phases will start work in 2021, the second quarter, and then 2022, second quarter, 2 projects each during that time. The first 2 phases will be a continuation of the Highlander development, which we are currently finishing up our 3rd phase, which is Nobility Point. The next 2 phases will be a total of 111 units and about 47 units. So those 2 phases will break ground again in 2021. We've made some changes since our last presentation here. We have gone out to a number of general contractors for an RFQ and received about 10 responses. We're expecting a few more to come in for the first phase, which is Overlook and Wade and Burdett and Wade, which is 111 units. We will then be, after we complete the schematic drawings on that phase of work, we will be requesting proposals. And the thought behind that is we want to bring in general contractors to work with the architect as we're finishing the plans. And we've done that in the past. We initially thought we would hard bid the project, but things being what they are right now, we want to find someone to work with during the design, development, and construction documents phase. That RFP will be released within about a month, so expect it in November, December of 2020. And the RFP will consist of, for general contractors, it will include qualifications if you did not. I just got a question. There is a list of the prime. Okay. So what we will have here is we'll have an opportunity for people to submit proposals and qualifications at the end of the year, and then work with the contractor, and there'll be an open subcontractor bidding process as we get towards our construction closing, which would be, again, the second quarter of 2021. The consultant working on that project with us is a group called DAE. They specialize in this kind of pre-construction work, and then also Project Advocate, which is a local Omaha firm that specializes in that work as well. The project manager from DAE is a gentleman named Ethan Beaver, and from Project Advocate it's Matt Herzog. And we'll be repeating this process again as we get to the 3rd and 4th phases of the project. So there'll be opportunities to provide qualifications and proposals as we're moving through this, and also opportunities for a contractor to really leave their imprint with the architect. One of the things that, as you know, in the construction community, you know, there's some benefits to hard bidding projects, but there's also benefits from contractors working on the front end in the process of an integrated design process where you're actually working with the architect to make sure things are buildable. So with that, I'm sorry I didn't have my presentation that I could get up on the screen here, but I will be able to provide that to the group via email. If you leave your email, we will send that out. So I'm sorry we're not able to meet in person for this meeting, but we really appreciate your interest in the project. Some of the things that we're looking for from a contractor include, obviously, experience, whether a firm is MBE, WBE, whether a firm is local, whether a firm has experience in the compliance side of things, which you'll hear about later in the presentation, and whether or not the firm has had any debarments or any other kinds of marks against them from other kinds of public contracting. So with that, I think I'm going to turn it back over to Alyssa, who will walk through some of the compliance requirements, and then we'll have an opportunity to meet with everyone in the breakout room later. And I look forward to getting a really good, having a good conversation with all of you, so that we'll find opportunities for bidding and for hopefully contracting on these projects. So thank you very much for your time, and I'm going to turn it back.
Todd? Okay, so for those of you that are kind of joining us just now, what I'm going to talk about here, and I'm going to keep adding people in kind of as we go. I will talk about the different federal requirements like Section 3 and Davis-Bacon that are associated with these projects in the Choice Neighborhoods area. And then I will also go over our city planning governmental checklist as well. And so the first item here that I'll talk about is Section 3. And Section 3, like I said, it's a federal program that was created by the Housing and Urban Development Act of 1968. So it's a program that's been around for a while. We're looking to kind of do more to implement Section 3 and to reach out to businesses and residents that might qualify as Section 3. That's certainly an important component of the Choice Neighborhoods program. And for those of you that have maybe worked on home or CDBG projects, you might be familiar with Section 3 and also Davis-Bacon as well. So some of this may be a review. But the overall purpose of Section 3 is to create economic opportunities for low-income individuals in an area where federal funds are used to finance construction projects and other local improvements. And when I talk about economic opportunities, I'm talking about employment, training, and contracting as kind of general concepts. But the overall idea with Section 3 is that when there's a federal project brought into an area, which generally with these programs is a lower income area, the idea is to create opportunities for those in the area as a result of the construction project. So when it also is looking to promote economic self-sufficiency through long-term jobs. And there's generally 3 categories that we talk about as far as jobs. Construction is probably the one that we all are most familiar with here. Professional is another major category. Some examples there: accounting, architecture, engineering, project management. But probably the second most common outside of construction is post-construction. This might be hospitality services, secretarial positions, janitorial, landscaping, or, when we're talking about housing projects, perhaps lease management services might also be categorized there. So Section 3, there are generally 2 different types of Section 3. 2 major categories, one being a Section 3 resident and the other being a Section 3 business concern. And the information that I have up here, that is representing the current rule for Section 3. There actually was recently a new rule that's been published by HUD. And so within the next few months, the city and OHA will be looking to revise this. But if you are looking for Section 3 hires, or if you think that you're a Section 3 business concern, right now what I have on the screen and what I'll discuss is the qualifications. So a Section 3 resident can be a public housing resident. It can also be a low to very low income person in the metropolitan area or non-metropolitan county in which the Section 3 project is located. The new rule, it's similar. Section 3 resident would be a public housing resident and also a low to very low income resident. So just a little bit of a change there. A Section 3 business concern, that is where the business ownership is at least 51% Section 3 residents. It also could be if the business employs at least 30% Section 3 residents. And it could also be whether that business commits to contracting with Section 3 subcontractors for at least 25% of the local contract. So like I said, this is under the current rule. With the new rule, we actually will be looking more at labor hours rather than new hires. So that second dot here, this where the business employs at least 30% Section 3 residents, that actually is going to change. That will be, you meet the qualification if a business labor force is 75% Section 3 residents. And there's also a new category that will be created for public housing. Section 3 business could be one in which 25% of the ownership comes directly from public housing. So I should also add that I'm here with Lewis Wright, also from the City Planning Department, and then Murphy Knight and Jonathan Jenkins should also be on the call from OHA. So the city and OHA have a partnership in addressing Section 3. So if you are looking to get onto the Section 3 business registry, that is where businesses will need to go to get registered. They'll want to self-certify on HUD's website, and I've got a link created there. Once you're registered, your business will be listed among other self-certified businesses in our area, and currently we have 47 Section 3 businesses in the Omaha Council Bluffs MSA. So we've seen some growth in the numbers that have self-certified within the last probably year and a half. And so we're really looking to expand on that as well. Section 3 residents, the registration is a little bit different. And if there are any potential Section 3 residents that are on here, this is for you probably to pay attention to. We are also doing a self-certification, and that is done with either OHA or the city. And there is a self-certification registration form on the city Section 3 webpage. I've got the link on there. And registrations, then once registrations are submitted to us, that information goes into a local database that will be shared with contractors who are looking to hire Section 3 residents. So for those contractors that are on a Section 3 project, if you have positions that become available, please feel free to reach out to the city or OHA to see what the interest is, to see what we have, who we have in our database, because we are tracking information like past experience and skill sets as well as interest. So there's a lot of information that will be on that database. And so for those that are looking to submit the resident registration information, we ask for some proof, for just some documentation of your qualifications. And these are generally a copy of a lease, copy of participation in the public assistance program, or just some kind of indication of your income. So then going on to our next slide, just some technical assistance. If anybody does have questions about Section 3, OHA and city staff are available to assist residents and businesses with Section 3 requirements. And we can do this through case management, our procurement and project management staff, as well as city planners. The business registration, that process is pretty simple. It takes maybe 10 minutes. And I think probably all four of us have probably done that over the phone or in person. So if you need help with registration, please feel free to reach out to us. Then our City Section 3 page is another resource specifically for those here in Omaha that are interested in Section 3. Provides an overview of our program, how it's implemented. It also includes some past training events. So I've done trainings on Section 3 that are a little bit more detailed, that are listed on our website. So if you want more information about Section 3, that would be a good resource for you. And then of course, HUD's Section 3 page is another good source of information as well. With that, I'm going to move into Davis-Bacon. Davis-Bacon, again, another federal program. And the objective here is to enforce a project area's prevailing wage standard. So for each project that we have, a wage determination is generated and used for each construction project. And on that wage determination, I'll show you an example in a couple of slides This includes a list of all the job classifications that we have on the project, and then the prevailing wage for each classification. And when I'm talking about prevailing wage, what I'm talking about is the hourly wage rate plus the fringe benefit rate that goes with that as well. So the prevailing wage is the hourly wage plus the fringe wage. And with Davis-Bacon, workers are required to be paid on a weekly basis, and certified payroll forms should be submitted to the compliance officer on a weekly basis. And so then, as I or others in our office receive payroll forms, we will look at that and provide feedback to any contractors and subcontractors, and we will also conduct site interviews with an employee in each wage classification, again, just to look at the work that's being done and the wages that are being paid. And an employee on Davis-Bacon, an employee can be paid more, but not less as a result of the Davis-Bacon project. So for some technical assistance questions, we do hold Davis-Bacon pre-construction conferences prior to the issuance of a notice to proceed for each project that we work on. So, if I'm working on a project that has Davis-Bacon, I'll meet with the contractor, the general contractor usually, and go over just the various aspects of the project. So how to fill out payroll forms if you're unfamiliar, when to submit information, what extra documentation we'll need. So we'll go over the requirements for that specifically. And again, the compliance officer is really just there to make sure the program is in compliance and to help answer any questions that might come up. And compliance officers can also assist with filling out payroll forms, especially if you're unfamiliar. That initial payroll form, it never hurts to have a second set of eyes or to have somebody look it over as well. And if there are any revisions, your compliance officer will also work through that with you. And then, just as you're looking to prepare bids, you will receive a copy of a wage decision at the time of bidding. And so if you have questions about the labor expenses related to the project, certainly you could ask your compliance officers about that as well. So this is really just the top part of a wage decision. I wanted to give you guys kind of a general idea of what some of this information is or some of the terminology I'm using. So this general wage decision number right here, this is the number and then the date. And then there are generally 4 different construction types. So here I'm looking at a building construction type, specifically for Douglas County. So here are a couple of wage examples, pretty common: carpenter, electrician. So here is this $27.61 is your hourly rate, and this $14.77 is your fringe rate for a carpenter. Here again is another example. So, I showed you specifically how it's listed on the wage decision, the prevailing wage rate. But just because $27.61 is the standard rate and $14.77 is the fringe wage doesn't mean you have to do those numbers exactly. It can be a combination of the two to reach that $42.38 for the prevailing wage. So here's just a couple of examples that I provided just to give you an idea that there is a little bit of flexibility there. What we look at in the target here is that prevailing wage. Here is an example of a payroll form. If anybody has questions about filling out the payroll form, please feel free to contact me, and I can set up a time to go over that as well. What I showed you before was the first page. This is the second page. It's the signature page. So when we talk about, for section 3 now, having to look in the future at labor hours instead of hires, if you have a Davis-Bacon project, in addition to the section 3 requirements, you're already with the Davis-Bacon payrolls tracking labor hours. So that information then is readily available to you and you're able to go back and pull that information for reporting purposes. Here, these are just some resources that I like to use, or a link here to that payroll form I just showed you. These guides here I think are just helpful in explaining what information needs to be on the payroll form. This cap law document, I think it's a little bit older. but it does provide some good examples, and I provided the page numbers for those examples as well. So now the last part of my presentation here is the city's governmental checklist. And so what this is used for, basically it's a tool that we use for federal, state, and local, because federal, state, and local funding sources have different requirements for different projects. And so we use this checklist as a guide to help show contractors bidding on our projects what they need to submit and what documentation they need to have available for us for the bid. And so each project has its own checklist, and bidders need to comply with the checklist and submit the documentation requested, and failure to comply can and does result in a bid rejection. So it's very important to follow the checklist and submit the documentation as instructed. So what we'll do is we'll put a check mark next to each of the items that is required, and then in bold print, the submittals are noted. We also go over the checklist during the pre-bid meeting for each project. So here are the different categories that we have: SAM registration, Davis-Bacon, minority business enterprise and women business enterprise plan, Section 3 policy, the Nebraska contractor registration, some housing welfare training, lead abatement, lead renovator training, contractor license, and the EEIP. And so, like I said, for each project, there's a different set of these items that might be included on that checklist. So SAM registration, Taylor, I believe, will be speaking about this in a little bit, so I'm not going to go into too much detail. But generally, we require this for general contractors that are looking to work on projects that are federally funded. And, this is just one of those programs that's designed specifically to assist, small businesses, as well as Section 3 and MBE, WBE firms. So doing the SAM registration really is just another tool or another resource to have so that you can be involved in governmental projects. And there are plenty of resources available to you. NBDC is a great resource, and they will highlight this and some of their other services later this evening. Davis-Bacon, just a few more items. When we give you the governmental checklist, we give you the wage determination so you can see what the prevailing wages are and the different job classifications. We will include federal labor standard provisions in the bid package so that you know what those are, so that you can attach that document to your contract as well as any contracts with your subcontractors. And then the wage determination that's current at the time of the bid opening is what you'll use throughout the duration of your project. And this is also when you'll have a good indication of whether any additional wage classifications will be required. MBE, WBE, this, so contractors and recipients of grant awards, consulting contracts, or loans should adopt the city's minority and women business enterprise plan, and the plan should be completed and attached to bid submittals. And contractors then are also required to contact the MBE, WBE goods and service providers that are listed in the plan by email, and then submit proof of that correspondence with the bid, or email our compliance section as well. And then all contractors then must provide project vendors with a copy of that MBE, WBE participation plan that should occur throughout all phases of the project. And I should also add that as we're talking about MBE and Section 3, it's not uncommon for a business to qualify for many different programs, whether, you could be a Section 3 business and also a WBE or an MBE. You could also be a small and emerging business. And so if you think that you might qualify for one of these programs, feel free to reach out to me, and I can either walk you through the process like with Section 3, or I can also refer you to other departments or other program resource providers as well. So just some information to be aware of. But as far as the Section 3 component of the governmental checklist, the city and the OHA do have separate policies, and with the Choice Neighborhoods funding programs, you will be working under the OHA's policy. So we'll indicate on the governmental checklist which policy you're to follow, and we'll also include a copy of the correct policy as well. I just want to highlight that there are some slight differences to our programs. And the city does require contractors, kind of like the MBE, WBE, we do require you to reach out to all the Section 3 contractors on the HUD Business Registry and to submit proof of that. And we will give you a copy of the current HUD Business Registry. We've also recently added something new to our website where we've got a fillable form where contractor, they just have to enter their name basically and hit submit, and then that email, kind of a form email, will go out to all Section 3 businesses to let them know that you are interested in bidding and you're looking for subcontractors. And the city also notifies Section 3 businesses that bidding opportunities are becoming available. Generally, I'll send an email out when an invitation to bid is issued. And then we also highlight Section 3 during the pre-bid meeting for each project. And again, a Section 3 business must self-certify on HUD's business registry in order to be considered a Section 3 business. And so we need that. We need to see that you're certified on the business registry at the time that your bid is submitted. There are a few other checklist requirements that I'm not going to go into too much detail on. I am going to talk about the Economic Equity and Inclusion Plan. That is through the HR&R department here at the city. And what this applies if the bid exceeds $500,000. The purpose of the EEIP is to increase participation of small and emerging businesses in Omaha and to develop the construction workforce through various job training programs and scholarships as well. So again, like the SEB program, if you have questions about EEIP, I refer you to the Human Rights and Relations Department here at the City of Omaha. And so with that, that is the end of my section there. Are there any questions for us at this point? Winsley, are there any questions on the Facebook Live page that oh, maybe you're entering these here.
Yeah, no, looks like you are good to move to the next section. I'm sure.
Actually, there are a couple of questions in the chat, Winsley.
Okay.
Okay, I'll flip through these really quickly.
So one of the questions is if somebody is already registered with Section 3, do they have to register with the city?
And so, yeah.
Are you talking about a Section 3 business? If I'm registered Section 3. No, if you're a Section 3 business, you have to register through the HUD Business Registry, and then we use that registry as a tool. It's only for a Section 3 resident that we require registration directly with us, and that's largely because there isn't a registry like the business registry at HUD. So we do that more locally for residents. But again, if you're a business and you're on the HUD Section 3 business registry, that's what we need.
So it looks like Christian had responded to that, basically, if you are a small and emerging business, then you've already gotten registered with Douglas County Purchasing. All small contractors, if you want opportunities with the City of Omaha or Douglas County, should be registered with Douglas County Purchasing, and you have already done that if you're an SEB. If you are not yet an SEB, you should talk with Christian Espinoza, who is on the line here, and then get certified there as a small emerging business. And part of that process, again, is registering with Douglas County, but Section 3 and the registering with Douglas County are completely separate transactions that don't necessarily go together.
Yeah, I think, and then there's also a question here about posting a link to the prevailing wage listing for our area. Let's see, I can actually send that out. We're going to send out some information following tonight's meeting that'll include things like the final PowerPoint presentation and some other resources as well. And so with that email, I will also give you guys an example of the different wage decisions. Because there's really 4 different categories. So I can send one for each category out to you guys, just so you get kind of a feel for what the wage decisions look like and what the various prevailing wages are for different projects. And if you have questions about that, please feel free to reach out to Lewis or myself.
Anybody who has registered, we should have your email address and we'll be able to get information out to you after this session.
Yep.
There is a question in here that asks if this is the same information that we had provided. And it does seem like it's been a month ago, but it has been so much longer. Some of the information is the same. There's a little bit that is different, but a good deal of it is some of the same pertinent information about getting registered, the resources. This is a little bit different project than what we were initially talking about the first time.
Learning about the other ways of solving. Most of us.
More questions for us?
We know the part of startup business.
If not, we can move on to the breakout sessions then. So I will go ahead and actually our first presenter tonight is, so we've got a few different breakout sessions for you guys. The first one, Taylor Law, I believe, is going to be presenting on SAM registration and some other ways that they assist businesses. So Taylor, I do have the presentation here. So if you want to go ahead and present, I will flip through that.
Perfect. Yeah. So obviously I'm Taylor Law. I'm with Nebraska Business Development Center. I'm one of the consultants with the Procurement Technical Assistance Program. I primarily help businesses that are in Douglas County, north of Dodge, Dodge County, Washington County, and Saunders County. However, we are a statewide program, so we do have people that do what I do in different areas of the state. So if we can roll to the next slide, please. Obviously, Nebraska Business Development Center is kind of the umbrella organization that I'm from. We have different departments within that kind of help small businesses in different areas. Obviously, the Procurement Technical Assistance Center is where I'm from, and that's kind of all things government contracting related. We also have the Small Business Development Center, which kind of helps more so with business plans and financial projections, kind of helping businesses to be able to go to banks for loans or go to other sources for external funding. In addition, we also have the innovation and technology commercialization. So that's helping businesses kind of go through if they have an idea, but they haven't brought it yet to commercialization, kind of help find resources that can help, whether that be prototyping grants or something along those lines. We also have Source Lake, Nebraska, which is a new department that we've kind of just started up. That's in partnership with the University of Nebraska, and it's kind of a one-stop resource, one-stop shop resource for entrepreneurs and small businesses, where they can kind of find out what resources are out there within the state of Nebraska that can assist them with various issues or problems. So next slide. As far as the services that we provide with the Procurement Technical Assistance Center, obviously a big thing that we help with, and kind of what's relevant for tonight as well, is we assist businesses with getting their registrations completed to be able to pursue federal, state, or local government contracts, namely obviously your SAM registration. In addition to that, we also help businesses go after and complete the application process for various certifications. Examples of those in the federal landscape would be the Service Disabled Veteran-Owned Small Business or Veteran-Owned Small Business certifications, the 8A Business Development Program, as well as the HUBZone, so Historically Underutilized Business Zone, Woman-Owned Small Business or Economically Disadvantaged Woman-Owned Small Business, or Disadvantaged Business Enterprise would be a couple examples, and I'll kind of touch more on those and the eligibility for each of those programs. In addition, we also provide market research for our clients, so that kind of helps in terms of seeing which agencies, federal, state, or local agencies that are out there that kind of buy or have a buying history in terms of what product or service offerings you have. In addition to that, it kind of lets you know a little bit about who the competition is that already has performed that work for agencies. Also allows you to kind of identify some potential teaming partners through that as well. We also have a bid matching service, which helps you try to find opportunities based on keywords, NEICS codes, geographical limitations of where you're willing to perform the work, where you're able to get to. Every day that it finds a match based on that search criteria, it'll send you an email with more information on the opportunity. It's great at picking up federal opportunities as well as some state and local as well in the area. We also assist in terms of helping you put together marketing materials. So namely, that would be your capability statement, as well as your dynamic small business search profile, which is kind of a subsection of the SAM registration, I would say. In addition to that, we also do some proposal review. So we can kind of take a look at your proposal or your quote. Obviously, you're not going to be able to evaluate based on pricing factors, but we can take a look and make sure that you're speaking to the evaluation criteria and making sure that you have everything that you needed in the instructions of the solicitation to make sure you're submitting a compliant proposal. And in addition to that, we also have a ton of workshops going on throughout the year. Obviously, with COVID, a lot of them are virtual, so very easy to attend. One coming up, for example, is the Meet the Buyer Conference, our Part 2 conference, which has an opportunity to have one-on-one Zoom meetings with a lot of these federal, state, or local agencies to hear more about their opportunity and kind of have that one-on-one face-to-face time with them. So next slide. Obviously, SAM. So SAM is a system for award management. To be awarded federal contracts or grants, you must be registered with SAM, and it must be an active registration, so it expires once a year. So once a year, you have to pop in, provided that no additional information has changed, like an address for the business. You have to go in and update that information to keep it active. In addition to that, obviously, some prime contractors require subcontractors to be registered on SAM as well. Next slide.
You should have gotten an email from the chamber.
To prepare for your SAM registration, obviously register your business and make sure the business is in good standing with Nebraska Secretary of State.
Are you looking to join
in addition to that, you have to obtain and confirm or confirm your business taxpayer identification number with the IRS. You must also obtain a DUNS number.
Well, it's just
that might be going away closer to the end of the year, but as of right now, that is still a requirement. In addition, record any NEICS codes that describe product or service offerings that the business, provides.
72.
In addition to that, obviously make sure you have your bank account number, your bank routing number, and your bank phone number on hand at the time of the registration, and also a list of keywords and description of business on hand. Obviously, this is something that we do assist with as well. So if you haven't completed the SAM registration before, that's something that we can definitely assist you with completing, or even if you need to do an update as well. Next slide, please. So certifications, there are certifications out there, especially on the federal side. It can help your business and we can help your business understand the requirements for these certifications. And with that, I'm speaking about eligibility requirements. We can also advise on what documents are needed to certify based on the certification you're going after. And we can kind of walk you through that process and the application process. From a federal standpoint, so SBA gives each individual federal agency small business participation goals for procurement. So with that, 23% of total spend for each federal agency has to go to small business. Within that, 8% has to go to small disadvantaged business, which is the 8A business development program, as well as 5% has to go to the woman-owned small business program, 3% to HUBZone, which is historically underutilized business zone, and 3% to serve disabled veteran-owned small business. In addition to that, at the prime contracting level, these goals trickle down as subcontracts. If a contract is awarded to a large business that is over 700,000 in service industry and 1.5 million in construction, if a large business is awarded a $1.5 million construction project, they also have to have a subcontracting plan in place, of which their subcontracting plan has to hit at least 23% small business, 5% 8A, 5% woman-owned small business, 3% HUBZone, 3% service disabled veteran-owned small business. Next slide. In terms of the eligibility criteria for the woman-owned small business program or the economically disadvantaged woman-owned small business program, so this certification used to be a self-certification. So once you registered in SAM, you've uploaded the documents on certify.sba.gov, then you log back into SAM and you clicked off a box that said, yes, I am now a woman-owned small business. This has now changed, and as of, I believe it's October 15th, SBA is starting to review this certification, so looking through all the documentation, and they will issue a decision. But in order to be eligible for the, as a woman-owned small business, you have to be at least obviously considered a small business by the NEXT code that you operate in. Be 51% owned or controlled by a woman who is a U.S. citizen, and have women manage day-to-day operations for the business. For the economically disadvantaged woman-owned small business, same criteria. Just with the economically disadvantaged size, your personal net worth must also be less than $750,000. Your annual gross income has to be less than $350,000 a year, and you must have 6 million or less in personal assets. Next slide. Whereas the 8A program eligibility, obviously, theme here, be considered a small business. Not already have participated in the 8A program, so it's a 9-year program that you can only participate in once. Must be 51% owned and controlled by a U.S. citizen who would be considered socially and economically disadvantaged. Socially disadvantaged would be someone that is African American, Asian Pacific American, Hispanic American, Native American. That doesn't just say that if you don't belong to one of those socioeconomic categories that you cannot be admitted into the 8A program. It's just you would have to write a narrative that shows a preponderance of evidence that you've been discriminated against time and time again. Unfortunately, if you belong to one of socioeconomic categories, that is well documented within our history. So you do not have to write that narrative. The economically disadvantaged side of things, I kind of have outlined below, and it kind of mirrors the woman-owned small business certification. Well, it now mirrors, I should say. So it's adjusted net worth less than $750,000. Annual gross income of the owner must be less than $350,000 per year, and must have 6 million or less in total assets. The owner must manage day-to-day operations and make long-term decisions for the firm. They must also be in business for at least 2 years. There is a waiver for that as well, but most of the time I would recommend having 2 years of revenue under the business. In addition to that, you also have to show potential for success in the firm. And that's kind of why I kind of lean on that 2 years of revenue generation. And also have all principals demonstrate good character. So that means there's no debarment or anything like that from another agency. Making sure that you don't have any delinquent taxes or something along those lines. For the HUBZone eligibility, so HUBZone, historically underutilized business zone, obviously still be considered a small business, must be at least 51% owned and controlled by U.S. citizens. You must have your principal office located within a HUBZone, and there is a map on the SBA site that allows that. I took a screenshot of kind of the Omaha area to let you know kind of a rough idea of where the HUBZones are within the Omaha area. As well, at least 35% of employees must also live within a HUBZone. It doesn't have to be the same HUBZone that your office is located. So for example, if your principal office is located in North Omaha, however, you have employees that live in Exarban, that would be someone that would potentially match that living in a HUBZone criteria, depending on where in Exarban. Next slide. And lastly, we talked about the service disabled veteran small business or the veteran small business eligibility. So obviously with the service disabled veteran small business, there's kind of two certifications. There's a self-certification.
Did we lose you, Taylor?
It seems like we lost Taylor. I can wrap this up really quickly. The service disabled veteran small business must be owned and controlled by one or more service disabled veterans, at least 51% owned. The service disabled veteran has to control the operations, and they have to certify VSCV through the VA. Taylor, are you back? No? Okay. So those are kind of the certifications and self-certifications available for the federal government, obviously with the SAM registration as well. So if you have any questions, please let us know.
Looks like we got Taylor's contact information there as well.
Yes.
Thank you to both Taylor and Veronica for presenting there. So now we're actually, are there any questions in the chat that I've missed? Okay, then we will move on to the bidding assistance segment. And that, I believe, Winsley, that is for you guys.
All right, very cool. I'm just going to do a brief overview here of the REACH program. So the REACH program is a capacity building program, helps to remove barriers, it makes connections, provides access to capital. You can talk to me if you need to find a loan. We are not the lender, but we help get prepared and kind of get all of the things ready and line you up with potential capital. If you need bonding, you can reach out to us. If you need mentoring, Frank, who's going to talk in just a second, he heads up our year-long mentoring program that has helped people increase their revenues and employee count significantly. If you need technical assistance, Frank's also going to talk just a little bit about the bidding assistance and all of the resources we have available there. But also we now have assistance available in Spanish. And so all of the business assistances that you might need, if you need those in Spanish, we have Andrea, whose information is in the chat, Andrea Macias. And if you or your employees have challenges that are not really business related, but affect your ability or their ability to mentally or physically be present to do that work, we have Dominique Sierra, who is also here on the line with us, who can help navigate a wide range of challenges, whether it might be childcare or transportation, kind of all those things we'll have her speak here in just a second. But Frank, can you talk about the bidding assistance that we have available for our small contractors?
Sure. Thanks, Wesley. Hey, so my name is Frank Allen. I'm a project manager here at the REACH team at the Greater Omaha Chamber of Commerce. And what I will be doing mostly for this project is assisting folks in achieving proper specifications and plans, connecting you with the architects and engineers if you have questions regarding the project. Also connecting you with the project and, the architects and engineers if you have questions for your proposal. We have some folks, some dedicated folks that would sit down with you once you've completed your proposal to go over your work to make sure that you've more or less kind of crossed the T's and dotted the I's. They're great principals, have been in the industry a long time and are willing to help you along your path with the project. So, and also another thing that we'll be here offering you is the best management practices. To Wednesday's point he made earlier, we do have a number of mentors who would like to take some time and visit with you just to make sure, again, that your business is operating on its P's and Q's to make sure that you can get there and fulfill the work that you've got done. So outside of that, I know Alyssa will have our contact information. Again, feel free to contact me with any questions. Once we get up and going, we'll also be able to put you in contact with the prime bidders. So we will have a list and be able to assist you there so you know who to bid to. And if you have any questions along the way with the projects, please feel free to reach out to me and see if we can't make a connection for you.
Now with those, with that bidding assistance, the folks that we have available to help you to bid your projects, they won't do all of the estimating for you. They are there to help guide and ensure that you are putting in a bid that makes sense for you and what you're doing, and making sure that you are not making any huge errors. But again, it is to teach you and guide you in your ability to bid those projects. And just quickly, if I could have Dominique and Andrea just say hello and a brief update about kind of what they're doing and the assistances that they're providing here for our small contractors.
Hi, my name is Dominique Sierra. I'm one of the Grow navigators. My job basically is to support any REACH participant and their employees with any type of personal barriers they are experiencing. So our program help a generation up and generation down. So that means that we are helping also the family members of the business owners and their employees. Our hope is that by helping people navigate any type of personal issues they have and connecting them with the resources that the community have, that we can be able to maintain employees engaged and continue to make those companies successful. Thank you.
Good afternoon. This is Andrea Macias. I'm part of the REACH program. I'm taking care of those folks that sometimes don't feel comfortable speaking in English. So I will be more than happy to help you in Spanish. And basically, I will do exactly the same than Frank. We are a multidisciplinary team, and now we are here to assist you in Spanish. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you. Next, we will move into, looks like we have some other questions. Yep, I guess there are some comments in the chat. One question that we got was regarding the slides and other materials that we've gone over tonight. The final presentation and any other handouts that we have will get sent out to participants. And in addition to that, it will also be posted on the city's website on the Section 3 page. So just kind of stay tuned for that, or feel free to reach out to me if you have questions about any of that. With that, we are going to move to the next segment, which is regarding education and training opportunities The first organization that we have represented is the National ABLE Network. So Alejandra, are you with us? Oh, I believe you're muted.
Sorry, can you guys hear me okay? I'm having some connection issues.
Okay, we got you now, Alejandra.
Sorry about that. Yeah, our power has been down, so I don't have any internet, so I'm having connection issues. I apologize up front for that. First of all, thank you for inviting us. I think this is a great forum, and I love all of the programs that we're hearing about. I would love to share a PowerPoint with you, but I can't, so I will send it out to Alyssa so she can get it out to everybody after the meeting. But what I wanted to share with you is really what we do at Heartland Workforce Solutions, which serves as the American Job Center for Douglas, Sarpy, and Washington counties in Nebraska. And we provide services not only to job seekers, but also to businesses. So I wanted to let you hear a little bit about how we do that and what we do. First of all, you know, we are the one-stop workforce system. So we are run by the Greater Omaha Workforce Development Board. We are the connection between community partners, employers, and job seekers to help individuals connect to employment opportunities, with the goal that we have a community that's more economically stable, and that we're connecting individuals who have typically had maybe some barriers to employment to either upskilling, or if they were unemployed or underemployed, helping them reach their employment goals. So that's really what we do. And we do that, like I said, through the connection that we make with community partners, job seekers, and the employers that our business service teams work with. So when we have career seekers come into our center, really what we're trying to do is help them build the skills and the credentials that they need to secure employment at a wage that's self-sustaining for them and for their families. So that's different for everybody that comes through the doors based on where they are at. We do that by helping them with resume assistance, career planning. We help them prepare for interviews with the employers. We help them see labor market information and look at the different industries that are hiring within our local area, and where there is the greatest need for employees in the local area, and kind of help them see where there is maybe a shortage of career seekers in certain industries to help them understand what a career path might look like in those industries. We link them to employers through labor market information and helping them see what employers are available and hiring. And then we have on the other side a business service team that is working with employers to help understand what employers' needs are, what kind of skill sets they're looking for, what it is that they need from job seekers, and how we can help them prepare either the current workforce or potential workforce for future employment with that business. We do assessment of skill levels on all of the job seekers that come in. So we're really looking to assess them before we place them into employment. One of the assessments that we use that I know part of this team is on here, so I won't go too much into depth in case they're planning on doing it, but we do offer the National Career Readiness Certificate at our location so that we can help better match individuals to employment. And I won't go into too much depth into that because I know that part of that team is on here. For job seekers, we also have interpretation services, and that is for both language and individuals who may have, who are hard of hearing. We do have the ability to work with individuals who are visually impaired to help them with any accessibility issues that they have. So, you know, if they need something to help them become employed, then we can help fund some of those accessibility things that they need through some of the programs that we have. Just just looking at my notes. When we do serve employers, really what they have access to when they come into our workforce system is that they have a business service representative that can work with them directly to connect them to other business service teams and to job seekers to help understand what the availability is of workforce in the local area. And they are exposed to an array of programs through one direct business service representative. That's done through a business service team that works together to help meet the needs of the businesses. So they are working together so that in an effort to avoid having businesses have to reach out to 5 different programs to try and connect them to a job seeker, we try to have one point of contact so that business services are more streamlined. We connect them with the candidates, and then we also make sure that the candidates match their training needs. Make sure that they're ready with their resume and that they've had some interviewing techniques and assistance with interviewing, so that by the time they get to the employer, they are geared up and ready to go. We meet with our partners at least on a monthly basis, and the business service team also is meeting separately to ensure that businesses are connected to the different programs within the workforce system. On site, for the agency programs that we have on site, we do have 12 different agencies who are located within the one stop. And what that means to businesses is that you have access to 12 different programs to help secure job seekers for whatever your business needs are. So by connecting to one business service team person, you are essentially connected to 12 different partners that include, the WIOA Title I Adult Dislocated Worker and Youth programs, the Career Readiness to Eliminate Disparities program. The Metro Community College offers an array of programs through our offices, including Adult Basic Education and GED. The Nebraska Department of Labor is in our office, and I know Shauna's on here to share some information about her programs. Nebraska Vocational Rehabilitation. We have a senior citizen program that helps place adults 55 plus into training opportunities and employment opportunities. And all along the way, they're assigned a career coach that can help them through that process. So the career coach is partnering with the business and with the job seeker to ensure that they have the support system in place to be successful once they are placed into employment. We do have a mobile workforce system, which right now it looks a little different because of COVID, but we do have a mobile workforce system that provides services in different areas throughout the 3-county area. Some of those in the past have looked like connections to Douglas County Corrections, going into the correction system and providing things like resume writing, interviewing skills, the National Career Readiness Certificate, and really just preparing them so that when they are ready to exit, that they have the connections that they need to employment. We previously were providing services through the Latino Center of the Midlands in South Omaha. We right now are looking for a place in South Omaha to be able to provide mobile services. And then we are working with the Washington County to provide services also mobily. We can bring services to you. So as a business, if you are just starting your business and really looking for workforce services and trying to figure out how to connect, we can absolutely come to your business and share the services with anybody within your business, or if you have a group of employees that just need some assistance in some way to either upskill, to either promote to a different role, or and just work on their skills, we can certainly do that also. We are excuse me, I lost my train of thought. We are working with businesses throughout the greater Omaha area, and many of our programs are training individuals in different industries. And so as we're training individuals and trying to connect them to employment, it's very important that we maintain that relationship with the businesses so that we have placement opportunities for for the job seekers who are coming through our door, but also that we have a pool of individuals ready for employers when they call us that they need some jobs, that they're looking to fill positions. Does anybody have any questions about any of those services? Sorry, I'm trying to look at my phone as I'm talking to you guys. I apologize.
All right, well, thank you very much. That was a good segue into our next group, Heartland Workforce Solutions. Vanessa will be presenting. Vanessa, I've got yours right here.
Perfect. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Good evening. I am Vanessa Hernandez, and I am the Business Services Coordinator at Heartland Workforce Solutions. And if you can transition to the next slide, please. Alejandra made this really super easy for me, so thanks, Alejandra, for that. She gave a great recap of what Heartland Workforce Solution is and the county areas that we serve. And so we are focused on our two clientele, which would be businesses and career seekers in the community. Next slide, please. And so I work under a grant from the City of Omaha called CRED, otherwise known as the Career Readiness to Eliminate Disparities Grant. And in 2016, we were given the opportunity to address some of the existing employment barriers in the community. And so with this grant, we have target zip codes in the 3-county area. And these zip codes are the zip codes that have the highest rates of poverty and unemployment in our area. And so that's really our focus. However, if we have participants that fall outside of that, we are still able to serve them as long as they are in Douglas, Sarpy, or Washington counties. And so the mission of this is really to be systemic and create changes within workforce that are responsive and meet the needs of the businesses while also helping individuals prepare themselves to be successful in those high demand positions that we have available. Next slide, please. And so part of this was to address some of the workforce issues that we have. And so there is clearly a skills gap today that we face. So our job is really to help individuals understand using labor market information and projections for our area, what opportunities they can segue into and what sort of skills and training and education is needed to get into those positions. And so we really want to focus on getting individuals career ready for specific jobs in high demand industries. And so when we're able to do that and upskill individuals and prepare them, we know and have been able to track and see that the employers that partner with us have less turnover and have higher retention rates. Next slide, please. And so we are able to do this through our funding mechanisms, and we are able to provide funding for credentials that help individuals demonstrate their work readiness and also help them attain short-term credentials that can either give them additional skills or can help them get a certification that will put them on a career pathway. And Alejandra talked a little bit about the National Career Readiness Certification. And so that is one of the ways that we're able to do that. Next slide, please. And so this grant also allows us to allot up to $500 per calendar year for certifications, trainings, and other employment-related costs that are not covered under the program Alejandra was able to speak about, which is WIOA. We are currently reviewing our process to determine whether or not we would allot additional funding aside from the $500 depending on the certification. So stay tuned because that could increase. And then the application process for individuals who are looking to upskill, or if there are businesses on the call who have current employees who need certifications that would elevate them in their position or that are required as part of their employment, we have funding to cover that, and they can come to us directly and we can help them attain those certifications. And it's a super simple form online, and the link is attached here. Next slide, please. And then here's just a list that's not exhaustive, but it gives great examples of some of the certifications that we're able to cover through our short-term training and certification funding. And so if you see something on here, it's more than likely covered. However, we do have instances where people come and they have a specific certification that's not on this list that we're able to cover. So it's definitely up for review. And so we would never shoot down an idea that somebody has, especially leaning on industry experts. So we really look to the businesses to inform us on what certifications are needed and how we can help individuals attain those certifications. Next slide, please. And here's just a quick intro to the National Career Readiness Certification. It is a framework that was designed by ACT. So much like how the ACT is a predictor of how successful someone will be in college, the National Career Readiness Certification allows for individuals to demonstrate their ability to be successful in the workplace. And so when individuals go to obtain their certification, they can earn a score from bronze to platinum, and depending on their score, the higher they are, the more prepared they are for the workplace. And so based on the formula that ACT was able to come up with, they've designated that there are three main areas that are important to workplace readiness, and those are applied mathematics, graphic literacy, and workplace documents. And so this gives individuals confidence and really helps them understand what skills they possess and what career pathways they're ready for. And if they're interested in upskilling themselves, they can do that and have the opportunity to score a higher ranking through the certification. And it also helps employers on the front end understand that an individual coming in with the National Career Readiness Certification has the skills that are necessary to be successful in the job that they're going to perform. Next slide, please. And then here's just a quick picture of those levels, and it gives you examples at the bottom of some of the career pathways that an individual would be successful in based on their ranking. So from bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. And like I said, for the platinum level, if someone is able to obtain that credential, they are ready for 99% of jobs in the workforce. So it really helps both the career seekers and businesses on the front end understand what their skills are. And ACT has awesome resources that you can use online and check out. So if you have a specific job title, you can go on there and understand what level is associated with what. Next slide, please. And then here are just some of the ways that it benefits our community. So it really helps a community effort to lessen the skills gap and create more movement around getting people the skills that are necessary. And it helps the workforce, and that eventually turns into economic prosperity for our area by being able to help individuals get more upskilled and into those high demand positions. And it also has created the opportunity for all of us community stakeholders to come together to make that happen. Next slide, please. And then lastly, I have a video on here, but it's 4 minutes long. So Alyssa will share this with you. We don't have to watch it right now, but I would encourage everybody to watch the video, and it really shows how the ACT Work Ready community works together to address the skills gap. And it's only 4 minutes, but it's really informative. Does anybody have any questions?
I think we might have had
Great
some.
job, Vanessa.
Thank you. So it looks like,
Oh, this is Winsley, and we had, I think Alejandra had one more topic that she forgot to bring up that she wanted to address.
Yes, thank you, Winsley, and great job, Vanessa. Thanks again for being so patient with me as I work on my connection issues. One of the things that I forgot to share with you all that is super important is that through the workforce system, employers have access to some really specific funding opportunities that look like on-the-job training. So we have programs that can fund on-the-job training in our local area up to 75% of the wage for individuals who just need that little extra training. So maybe they're going through training with a specific, I don't know, maybe they've just finished a project management or something training at Metro Community College, and now they're ready to go to work, but they've never been in the workforce before. So they just need some special training. We can fund up to 75% of their wages through the employer. So you basically hire the individuals and then we refund you up to 75% of their wages. And we can go into detail more about that if you contact us at the workforce system. We also have work experience opportunities. So when we're serving those individuals with the highest barriers to employment, sometimes they've never worked or they haven't worked in a long time, or they don't have a great and steady work history. So we want to work with them to help them be better prepared for the workforce. And we do that by placing them in work experience opportunities. So that looks like they're on our payroll. We place them into the employment opportunity. You as an employee have essentially somebody who can work part-time in your business for free to you. And your agreement is that you're going to help this individual learn some really important workplace skills. And they're working for you essentially. And then we also have an incumbent worker training program. And that training program is really a layoff, I would call it a layoff aversion program. So really we're trying to work with businesses who may have to potentially lay off their workforce because maybe they've changed their systems and they don't have the skill force that can do that work, or maybe it's gone to fully electronic and they have a skill force who maybe is not well skilled in that area. We can help provide training to them to hopefully avert a layoff. So those are some of the direct business service programs that we have, and I'd love to give you guys more detailed information. If you contact me, I'm sure Winsley, I think Winsley said he's going to share my information, but I want to make sure that you guys know that those are some direct services that are available to businesses by coming through the workforce system.
Thank you, Alejandra.
Thank you, Winsley.
All right, so there's some great information there. And then our next segment is on hiring and trade programs. And we have Shauna Smith from Nebraska Department of Labor, who is here to discuss those programs. And actually, Shauna, I think I'm going to allow you to go ahead and show your handouts to us. So if you want to share your screen.
Hello, good evening, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Excellent. And can you see the screen?
Perfect.
Excellent. All right. Well, we're off to a great start. Good evening. My name is Shauna Smith. I'm the Administrator for Workforce Services with Nebraska Department of Labor, Office of Employment and Training. We have a plethora of employment and training related programs and opportunities for you. For the sake of tonight's conversation, I will focus on registered apprenticeship and allow just provide some information as follow-up for a few of our incentives that employers can take advantage as well. For registered apprenticeships, I'm sure we've all heard the word apprenticeship before. So why, what is a registered apprenticeship and how is it different than regular apprenticeships? Well, registered apprenticeships are certified through the United States Department of Labor And it really considers the overall industry standard. So it's that's really what sets it apart. One is registered with the United States Department of Labor, and apprenticeship programs that aren't registered, well, that's self-explanatory. So let's go ahead and dive in. So the first component, there are 5. The first component of registered apprenticeship programs is business involvement. This program is completely driven by employers. So it's customized to meet the need of the employers. And really the employers are letting Department of Labor know what skills and what training the individuals, either new talent or existing talent, need to master in order to be proficient for that specific company. So we work as a liaison here at Nebraska Department of Labor with United States Department of Labor to customize your program and align it with industry standards all at the same time. So we essentially do the work for you. You just let us know what you need. The second component is structured on-the-job training. So part of it is that on-the-job experience, and they are going to have, it's a one-on-one mentor relationship. So for every apprentice you have, they have to have one mentor assigned to them, and that's the hands-on learning component. The third component is related instruction. This could be a combination of classroom learning, which is a bit difficult because of COVID right now. So it also accommodates online courses, classes held at the job site, classes by preferred vendors. OSHA is a common one for construction related industries. They can be through internet as well. So quite a variety of options for that. And if they have prior experience, we can customize your standards so that if they've already completed a certain element of that training specific to that occupation, then they don't have to repeat it unless you as the employer want them to. Again, it's completely customized. The fourth component is rewards for skill gain. So some employers have several wage steps included into their program. So as skills are gained, they're rewarding essentially the employee for learning and for gaining those skills. Because the apprentice comes on board without that experience and expertise, they are brought in at a lower wage than somebody who has had experience. So it is required that they have at least one step of the wage increase within the standards of the program, but it's really up to the employer. Again, it's completely customizable on how many you want to include for your employees as they earn those skills. So that's why it's considered the earn and learn model. The fifth component to registered apprenticeship is that national occupational credential. So when they complete the standards that you've put together that have been approved by the industry and by USDOL, the individual receives a nationally recognized credential from USDOL that means that they are now fully qualified for that occupation. I didn't mention this earlier, but registered apprenticeship is associated to an occupation. So if they come on board, for one occupation, the training is specific to that. If they transfer occupations and you have another program, you can transfer them over, but it's really aligned specific to occupations. And it's also employment. So sometimes people think that it's just training. It's not. They're full-time employees and they're going to, they're earning that skill and that training at the same time for the related technical instruction. So this is a great way to enhance your training structure and to make sure that it's compliant with industry standards. It is proven to increase retention as well. They've seen great success with that, employers who have the structured registered apprenticeship programs in place. And as I said earlier, this is for existing talent. A lot of employers that create a registered apprenticeship program, they might put their staff through the program, their existing workforce through the program first, and also then incorporate new talent. So the available workforce, you can take somebody who doesn't have the skills or the credentials, bring that in, and they're learning with the mentor as well as related technical instruction, and they progress. Each occupation duration is a little bit different, just depending on what those industry needs are. So we'd love to meet with you. It's very customized, so after this, it gets a little bit tricky with the details. We are happy to meet with you and to discuss what occupations you might have challenges in retention or finding skilled workers for. Those are some of the key indicators that registered apprenticeship might be an option for you. I know a question often arises in construction related industries for employing youth, 16 years and older. So I did provide this flyer you'll receive after the presentation to provide a list of what they can and can't do. And again, we work as a liaison with the United States Department of Labor, and they are very good at navigating insurance companies. So keep that in mind as well. And are there any questions regarding registered apprenticeship first? And then I just want to share with you a few incentives we have available for you prior to my time being done. I don't see any in the chat, so I'll keep going then. So the next thing I wanted you guys to know about is the federal bonding program. You may have heard about this before, but Nebraska didn't have a substantial amount of funding to offer this to employers, and now we do. So we have approximately 800 federal fidelity bonds available for employers, first come, first served basis. These provide $5,000 of insurance coverage for individuals who have been involved in the judicial system, and it covers events such as theft, larceny, or embezzlement. I'm sure people have a lot of questions, so I'm happy to answer any of those as well regarding the program. The second incentive I wanted to share with you is the Work Opportunity Tax Credit. You might have heard this already. It's a federal program that you are allowed to obtain tax credits for should you hire individuals from certain target groups who have faced consistent barriers to employment. And the tax credits average about $2,400. And specifically for this flyer, I focused on the felony conviction because it's the backside of the federal bonding program. But there is a very diverse range of qualifications for the tax credit. So I would encourage you guys to look into that. If you have any questions, let me know. Lastly, for training programs, we do have statewide grants available. The first one would be the Worker Training Grant, and I'll stop sharing because I don't have that information up right now. But we have the Worker Training Grant, and essentially what that means is if you are upskilling for current workforce or you start that registered apprenticeship program, we have funds available to help that cover that. And you just have to be in good standing with state accounts and such. Lastly, I will just put in a little plug in here that we should have a grant available for apprenticeship programs soon. So as soon as that is released, I will send a copy of that information to the City of Omaha so you all are on the call can be privy to that information first and foremost. So thank you so much for having me. That was a lot of information in a short amount of time. We usually take an hour to explain all this. So thank you, and please let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you. I'm not seeing any questions in the chat. So with that, we'll move on to our last segment, which is the networking for general contractors and subcontractors section. For that, we have Todd Lieberman from Brenshore, and I also have Lindsay Duran from Reach down here too.
Great. Well, I just wanted to, I can't see if I'm, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Todd.
Well, for this segment, I really wanted to give people a chance to say a little bit about what kind of work they do, and make this interactive as much as we can. I know sometimes it's hard on these calls to do that. Is there any way to open up for people to sort of go around the room? I was kind of hoping that maybe people could take themselves off mute and very, as orderly as possible, say who they are, what kind of work they do, and what they are looking for in the future in terms of work. So I'm going to be taking some notes, and this is being recorded. So in addition to having the opportunity to reach out to you when bidding opportunities come up, you know, I just would like to get to know you guys as people. So when a company comes in front of us and a name, we'll be able to understand who it is. So with that, I'm not sure this is going to work well, but we'll try it. Why don't we start with folks taking themselves off mute and saying a little bit about their company and what they do.
Todd, how about you maybe call on folks, kind of go down the list so that we don't have folks trying to talk over each other?
Lindsley, that's a great idea.
Hey, and I was going to say, Todd, I recognize quite a few names in here, so maybe I could just take and run
Yeah,
it.
Frank, if you could do that, that'd be great.
Okay. Hey, the first person I see out there just on the list is Sammy. If you would take yourself off mute and just give us a quick introduction of who you are and what you do.
Hi, yeah, my name is Sammy. I'm with JBP Concrete Construction. And we do concrete, all types of concrete construction, from beams, foundation walls, up to flat work and anything related with concrete. We have 28 years of experience and 4 years on the business as JBP Concrete Construction.
Sammy, can you give me the name of your company again?
JBP Concrete and Construction LLC.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Sammy. Next, I'd like to go to Gerald and Uriel with A&A Framing. You guys will jump off of mute and go ahead and talk.
Hi there, my name is Gerardo and my son is Uriel Aguayo. We're wood framers and we'd like a chance to get a better chance to work on a bigger project. That's what we do. And the name of our company is A&A Contractors LLC.
Gerardo, have you done multifamily wood frame?
We've done, well, not multifamily, but we've done all kinds of projects. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Gerardo. Let's go to Mark Santo next. Mark, there we go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, just a little bit louder though.
All right. I don't know how to adjust this. Volume, let me see what I can do.
Oh, you got it. That was it, Mark.
You can hear it?
Yep, we can hear you.
Much better.
Okay. I mean, my company is Mark 7 Enterprises. We're a small prime contractor, focused really exclusively on government contracts, city, state, federal, county, and we also do 501(c)(3), anything that's nonprofit we pursue. We have a lot of set-asides. We're tier 1, a service disabled veteran owned. We're HUBZone. We are certified DBE, and we're in the very, very lengthy late stages of getting an 8A certification.
Great, thank you.
All right, appreciate it, Mark. Thanks a lot. Kenny, is that Kenny and Associates? Is that you?
Yeah, that's me.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Kenny Ingram. Company is Kenny and Associates. I have 30 years of experience in construction, concrete, 5 years as far as the company. I am DBE and Tier 1 for the City of Omaha. I've done city work, residential, and commercial. And well, we're currently looking to go 8A. So I have quite a bit of experience in various projects, retaining walls, RCP pipes, concrete streets, curb and gutter, ADA ramps and panels. And we're pushing towards the future. So
Great. Thank you. And so you, I should have asked this of the previous folks as well. When you speak up, just let us know if you've done Davis-Bacon Section 3 as well.
yeah, I am a self-certified Section 3. Been that for 4 to 5 years. And yes, I am actually doing some projects that consist with Davis-Bacon wages right now. So yeah.
Okay, thanks, Kenny. Appreciate it. Tina, can you go ahead and go next? Tina with Future Construction. Okay, I guess we'll keep it moving. Let's go to Mandy at TSR Construction.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep, we got you, Mandy.
Hi, so my name is Mandy Reynolds. I'm with TSR Construction, and we are also prime contractors. We do commercial, residential, we're Tier 1. We're a fairly new construction company. We're about to complete our first federal contract. We are familiar with the Davis-Bacon wages, and we're looking to become an 8A contractor as well.
Okay, I appreciate it. Any questions for Mandy, Todd?
Thanks. So do you, well, actually I do. So is your work mostly general, or do you also do any trade, perform any trades?
Mostly general.
Thank you.
Not mistake. Hey Todd, if I may add, if I'm not mistaken, TSR is a Class A contractor.
Yes, you're correct. Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Okay, I appreciate it, Tina. Or excuse me, Tina. Mandy, sorry about that. Colin Freeman.
Andy, what's your last name? I'm sorry.
Reynolds.
Reynolds. Okay, thank you.
Coleman Freeman, you're on the line. Okay, we'll move to La Sierra Construction.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep, I got you.
Hey, well, my name is Luis Hernandez. I'm the owner of La Sierra Construction. We've been in business for 4 years now. Experience almost 10 years on doing inside and outside remodeling, including like any kind of work from painting, windows, siding, trim, pre-hang doors, any remodeling inside and out, we do it. And we're trying to expand into the commercial wise. We do have like 5 years in commercial doing metal framing here and there, fire rating, drywall, and a fire rating tape and some commercial stuff. So we're trying to kind of keep going. We have the good guys on quality work, and I know a bunch of other guys are trying to get going, but I mean, we're like small company. We don't have like the people like they know like bigger jobs and here and there, you know. So that's why we're trying to expand ourselves and kind of see people that we're there. So just trying to get these going, and hopefully we can get new contracts and know each other and work with it.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Thank you.
You any questions, Todd?
Nope.
Okay, let's go to Rebecca at on the edge. Okay.
Yeah, this is Freeman Coleman.
Freeman, you want to jump in?
Yeah, Freeman Coleman.
Yeah, go ahead, Freeman.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm a general contractor. I do. I have been a certified contractor with the city, with the government, and I have did payroll, certified payroll. I have done a different job with, like I said, City of Omaha, and yeah, I mean, I just did all different types of jobs around town. Build houses, pour concrete, roads. We did all of it. Bonded also. We've been doing business since 1980.
Oh, sorry.
Been in business since 1980.
Right. What trades do you self-perform right now? You talked about concrete as well as general.
You said what?
Trades? You said concrete, but you also do general. Are there other trades that you self-perform?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I build houses. I build. I do concrete. I do carpentry, vinyl, drywall. You know, anything that consists of a building, we do.
Right.
Okay. All right, Freeman, I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want to try and bounce back to Rebecca and see if maybe she can unmute herself from on the edge.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Coleman.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Rebecca's having some audio difficulty, and so in the chat there, she has put that they do computers, security cameras, voice over internet protocol, I guess via VoIP, digital phones, installation, service, registered government contracting, and she's looking to partner. And so if there are firms that are out there that may be looking to partner with her firm, it looks as though she is open to do so. So we will get her contact information and get that to you, Todd.
And just if people could note in the chat function, if it's okay if we share this information with generals, if you perform trades, if we can share your information with generals as they request it, it would I think give you some more opportunities to get looks on this work. So.
And with that, I would say that if you have statements of qualifications that you would like to share, send that into the REACH team and we will get that distributed out. And if you need assistance putting together a statement of qualifications, please contact our team and we will help you get one of those put together.
Okay. Thanks, Wensley. Hey, I want to get Miranda Adams in here with Blair Freeman. She has to run to a meeting. So Miranda, go ahead if you be next, please.
Hi, Todd. It's Miranda Adams with Blair Freeman. We are a 100% women-owned, minority-owned general contracting company. We have our Class A license.
We've done work with Miranda. She actually built out the accelerator. Did a great job. So thank you for that.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you, Miranda. Hey, Wednesday, do you want to circle back around? I know that Tina with Future Construction is having some audio difficulty also.
All right, and so Tina is a firm, she's been around for a number of years, I would say probably close to 20 years. She and her husband, Paul, they are a Section 3 contractor. They are an SEB. and perform a wide range of work. When the chamber redid its buildings, they did the demolition, the tear out. They've done a little bit of concrete. They do a lot of work up at Omaha Housing Authority, kind of renovations. They have a pretty flexible scope of work, can do a wide range of things.
All right, thanks.
Sorry, could you repeat the company name?
Yes, Future Construction, and it's Tina Chiomsky. And I put it in the chat. Hopefully, Tina, I spelled your last name correctly.
Got it. Yep.
Frank, looks like we got Gail Adams. I think. Nope. Well, there's a Gail.
Okay. Do we want to go to Quinn from Turner next? Quinn, are you on the line? Okay, doesn't look like she's readily available. I recognize any other names here. Oh, I heard someone.
All right, and so Quinn is with Turner. Turner, they are doing the Facebook project out there in Papillion, and they are, they are also doing or seeking lots of other opportunities, looking for small contractors, and I believe they are also working with Blair Freeman on some teaming opportunities as well.
Okay, well, that's all the names that I recognize. Wednesday, if you, I don't know if you recognize any other names out there. We've got Julie, Reggie. Let's see, I think that's about it.
So if there are other small contractors or general contractors that would like to raise their hand and tell a little bit about who you are or what you do, we'd ask at this point that you unmute and share a little bit with us.
This is Felicia Frizzell with Inveterate Solutions. We're a city and federal contractor. We do pre and post construction cleanup, lawn and landscaping, and hoping to do some construction hauling.
Say that name again of the company.
It's Inveterate, I-N-V as in Victor, E-T-R-A-T-E, Solutions.
Great.
Okay. Let's see, Dr. Richard Montgomery, do you want to go next?
I would, thank you. Good evening to everyone. My name is Dr. Richard Montgomery, and I'm with Lionsgate Security Solutions Incorporated. We are a health, safety, and security firm. We do the OSHA 10 and 30 training. We provide construction safety management, personnel. We do construction site security, patrols and technology. We also do home and commercial alarm systems and cameras. And we also do training in first aid CPR.
Thank you. So let me just ask a quick question. Do you self-perform all the low voltage work as well?
Yes. And we're also, let me also add that we are MBE and service disabled veteran certified as well.
Okay. All right, I don't see any other names out there. I don't know, Todd, did we have anything else we wanted to cover tonight?
Well, I just wanted to say that I would like to reconvene this group and provide some opportunities when we are moving forward towards any subcontractor bidding opportunities and do a bid, sort of a bid proposal meeting, a bid announcement. So people can ask questions, and if they're interested, team up with other folks on the work. And that'll happen in the next few months. Also, if you're a general, can you get some information to Winsley or to Frank, and we will get you an RFQ as well if you're interested. We're getting some information right now on generals for the first project I mentioned, and if you're interested, we will reach out to you as well, so you can put your information out there at this point as well. So we hope to have more of these sessions, and more than that, we hope to provide work that's meaningful and that helps to grow your companies through this effort. So thanks for your time. I really appreciate it.
Before you leave, I got a quick question. Is it possible that I can get a copy of the list of generals and subcontractors that was on here?
Yeah, the one that we just that we're in the meeting here today.
Yes. Yes.
I've got a partial list. Maybe Frank, Winsley, you three of us can sort of get together and try and figure out everyone who's on the call.
Yeah, Murphy, I've got that information. I'll go ahead and send it to you as soon as we get off the call.
That's great, because I know some of the contractors, but some I'm not familiar with, and I would love to just, you know, reach out to them and provide some opportunity with OHA.
Excellent. Appreciate that.
Perfect. So,
hello, excuse me.
Hello, Julie.
My name is Julie. Yes, my name is Julie Garrido, and I am from J. Garrido Handyman. We do like small repairs, mostly interior, exterior painting, and anything that has to do with framing, trim, cabinets, and all that.
I'm sorry, I keep on doing this. It's because I have a bad memory. What is the name of your company again?
J. Garrido Handyman.
J. Garrido Handyman. Thank you.
And Julie, have you already signed up as a Section 3 contractor?
I don't think so. I just got this email recently.
Okay. Well, you can contact Alyssa directly or the REACH team. There's a number of folks that can help you get set up so that you can take advantage of some of the upcoming opportunities. There will be some future sessions coming up. As Todd pointed out, we'll get back together closer to bid time. We would love to be able to do something in person, but of course, my crystal ball's a little foggy. We'll have to see what the future has in store for us. But we have recorded this session. It will be posted on the REACH Facebook page. And then also this information will be on the city's page. Alyssa, do you want to tell them exactly where that will be and when they'll be able to see it?
Yes, it will be on the city's Section 3 Facebook page, and I will try to get an email out to everybody else from our registration list as well. I just included my email in the chat, so if anybody has questions, please feel free to reach out to me and we will get the information out.
All right. Are there any last parting words from anybody or any questions that were unanswered? There were lots of great resources and people definitely need to take advantage of these resources. There's lots of people here who are just absolutely wanting to assist you and your company grow and to do business. So again, please don't be shy. Reach out to everyone. They want to help. All right. Well, again, we will have information posted on the Section 3 page from the city, the REACH page, and from there, we'll have all the contact information for the speakers. And again, please reach out to us if you do have questions. We hope to see you soon. And that concludes today's session. So thank you very much.